Hello dear learners, welcome back to our channel, where learning English turns into an unforgettable journey. Today, we are starting the amazing life story of one of the most influential leaders in history, Nelson Mandela. This is not just a story, it is a powerful journey filled with hope, bravery, and determination. Listening to this story will not only improve your English vocabulary, pronunciation, and listening skills, but it will also motivate you to think big and never give up, no matter how difficult life becomes. So get ready to hear one of the most inspiring and powerful stories ever told. Let's begin the journey of Nelson Mandela, the man who transformed the world. Nelson Mandela was born on July 18, 1918. In a small, peaceful village called Mavezo, in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. His birth name was Rolihlahla Mandela, which in the Xhosa language means pulling the branch of a tree, and is often understood as troublemaker, a name that later matched his fearless stand against injustice. He was born into the Thembu royal family, a tribe known for its deep cultural roots and proud history. His father, Gadla Henry Mamkanaiswa, was a respected chief and advisor to the Thembu king. Even though Mandela's family was not rich, they were highly respected in their community. His mother, Nosekeni Fanny, was a devoted Christian who taught him values like kindness, humility, and faith. Mandela's early life was simple, yet full of happiness. He lived in a hut made of mud and grass, surrounded by wide open fields and gentle hills. There was no electricity, no running water, and none of the comforts we have today. Yet Mandela felt joyful and free. As a young boy, he loved running barefoot across the fields, taking care of cattle, and swimming in nearby streams. He played traditional Xhosa games with his friends, and spent evenings listening to elders share stories by the fire. These stories, often about brave warriors and great leaders, lit a spark inside young Mandela. One day, his father told him that a true leader is not someone who seeks power for himself, but someone who serves his people. These words stayed with Mandela forever. When Mandela was just 9 years old, his life changed suddenly. His father became sick and passed away. This was a painful loss, but it also marked a new chapter in his life. After his father's death, his mother took him to live with Chief Janjantaba Dalanjibo, a leader of the Thembu people. The chief welcomed Mandela like his own child. For the first time, Mandela experienced a life beyond his village. He stayed in the chief's residence, where he observed meetings and learned about leadership, traditions, and responsibilities. Mandela began school at the age of 7 at a local Methodist school. It was here that his teacher, Miss Madingan, gave him the English name Nelson, as was common at the time. Although he did not fully understand why he needed a new name, he accepted it and focused on his studies. He quickly became a hard-working student, eager to learn. He enjoyed subjects like English, geography, and history, especially stories about African heroes who resisted colonial rule. Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." This belief pushed him to study harder and dream bigger. As Mandela grew older, he became more aware of the injustice around him. South Africa was controlled by the system of apartheid, which separated black and white people in every aspect of life. Black people were denied the right to vote, own land, or live in the same areas as white citizens. Mandela saw this unfairness everywhere. At the age of 16, Mandela took part in a traditional Xhosa initiation ceremony, where boys became men. During the ceremony, Elders spoke about responsibility, but also expressed sadness about the suffering of their people under apartheid. This deeply affected Mandela and gave him a strong sense of duty to fight for justice and equality. When Mandela turned 19, Chief Taba arranged a marriage for him. But Mandela had different plans. He wanted to continue his education and shape his own future. So, he made a bold move and left for the busy city of Johannesburg. In Johannesburg, Mandela encountered a completely different reality. The city was full of life, but also filled with struggle. Black people worked extremely hard for very low wages and lived in poor conditions. While white people enjoyed wealth and privilege, Mandela worked as a night guard at a gold mine while continuing his studies. He lived in a small, crowded room and often had little food, but he never lost hope. He believed education would lead him to a better future. Mandela later joined the University of the Witwatersrand to study law. He was one of the few black students there and faced discrimination, but this only strengthened his determination. During this period, Mandela became a member of the African National Congress, an organization fighting for the rights of black South Africans. He attended secret meetings, listened to powerful speeches, and shared his vision for a just South Africa. Mandela dreamed of a country where people of all races could live together peacefully, where children could play without fear, and where justice would prevail. This dream became his life's purpose, but the path ahead was full of hardship, sacrifice, and struggle. When Mandela arrived in Johannesburg, he was a young man full of ambition. The city was energetic but harsh. Black citizens were treated unfairly and forced into poor areas called townships. Mandela rented a small room in Alexandra, one of the poorest areas, and worked as a clerk in a law firm. The job was tough, but it allowed him to understand the legal system and how it was used against black people. He spent his nights studying by candlelight, determined to complete his law degree. Mandela's desire to learn never stopped. He once said, "I have walked that long road to freedom. I have tried not to stumble. I have made mistakes along the way, but I have learned that after climbing a great hill, there are always more hills to climb." The ANC had existed for many years, but Mandela and other young leaders believed it needed new energy. They created the ANC Youth League to encourage young people to join the fight against apartheid. Mandela's speeches were strong and inspiring. He spoke about justice, equality, and the need for action. People admired his bravery and vision. One of his famous sayings was, "It always seems impossible until it's done." While working with the ANC, Mandela met a smart and kind woman named Evelyn Toko Mays. She was a nurse and shared his dream of a better future. They married in 1944 and started a family. Mandela loved his family deeply, but his commitment to the struggle often kept him away. His personal life was challenging as he balanced family and leadership. He once said, "There is no passion in living a life that is less than what you are capable of." In 1948, the government introduced stricter apartheid laws, making life even more difficult for black citizens. These laws controlled where people could live, work, and even who they could marry. Mandela and his colleagues knew they had to respond. He helped organize peaceful protests, strikes, and marches. Inspired by the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, thousands joined the movement, risking everything. But the government reacted with violence. Many protesters were beaten, arrested, or killed. Mandela himself was arrested several times, but he never gave up. He said, Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to inspire others to go beyond it. Despite everything, Mandela achieved one of his goals in 1952 when he became a lawyer. He and Oliver Tambo opened the first black law firm in South Africa, Mandela and Tambo Attorneys. The firm helped black citizens who could not afford legal services. Mandela spent his days defending people in court, and his nights planning the next steps for freedom. In 1960, a tragic event changed everything. During a peaceful protest in Sharpeville, police fired on the crowd, killing 69 people and injuring many more. This shocked the world and made Mandela realize peaceful resistance might not be enough. The government banned the ANC, forcing leaders to go underground. They formed a secret group called Umkhonto we Sizwe, meaning Spear of the Nation. Mandela explained their aim was not to harm people, but to damage government systems supporting apartheid. Mandela became a wanted man. He moved in disguise across the country, organizing resistance and seeking support internationally. He earned the nickname Black Pimpernel for avoiding capture, but his life was dangerous. He could not see his family and lived with constant risk. In 1962, Mandela was arrested and charged with sabotage and treason. During his trial, he delivered a powerful speech saying, "I have fought against white domination and black domination. I believe in a democratic and free society where all live together with equal opportunity. It is an ideal I hope to live for, but if necessary, it is an ideal I am prepared to die for." He was sentenced to life in prison and sent to Robben Island, where conditions were harsh. He performed hard labor in a limestone quarry, lived in a small cell with minimal comfort, and was allowed very limited contact with the outside world. But Mandela remained strong. He used prison time to study, reflect, and teach others. He even learned Afrikaans to understand his oppressors better. He said, "I am an optimist, whether by nature or nurture. Part of optimism is moving forward with hope." Over time, Mandela became a global symbol of resistance. People around the world demanded his release. Even though he was imprisoned for 27 years, his influence only grew stronger. His name was chanted across nations, and his struggle inspired millions. South Africa faced increasing pressure from protests and global sanctions. Leaders and artists raised their voices for Mandela. Even in prison, he quietly communicated with allies and began discussions with the government, understanding that true victory required peace, not revenge. On February 11, 1990, Mandela was finally released at age 71. His body had aged, but his spirit remained powerful. His first speech emphasized unity and healing. People celebrated across the nation. His freedom marked the beginning of a new South Africa. After his release, Mandela faced the challenge of healing a divided nation. While many wanted revenge, he chose forgiveness, working with former enemies to build unity. He said, "Holding onto anger is like drinking poison and expecting others to suffer." Mandela led efforts toward the first democratic elections in 1994, where all citizens could vote regardless of race. He became the first black president of South Africa, marking a historic moment. He promised that oppression would never happen again. As president, Mandela focused on bringing people together. One symbolic moment was his support for the national rugby team during the 1995 World Cup, showing unity across races. After one term, he stepped down, proving true leadership is not about holding power, but serving people. He spent his later years promoting peace, education, and health awareness around the world. Nelson Mandela passed away on December 5, 2013, at the age of 95, leaving behind a legacy that touched millions. His life teaches us that no matter how hard the journey, hope and determination can create change. His story reminds us to never give up and to believe in the power of forgiveness. Mandela's life shows that greatness is built through effort, sacrifice, and belief in a better future. He proved that even one person can make a difference. He chose peace over anger and showed the world the strength of compassion. His journey was not easy, but he never stopped moving forward. He believed small actions could lead to big change. He taught us that we don't need to be perfect. We just need to keep trying. His story encourages us to rise after every fall and keep going, no matter what challenges we face. He showed that leadership is not about fame, but about doing what is right, even in small ways. His life is a message for everyone that we all have the strength to overcome difficulties and create change. Remember his journey when you feel like quitting. Think about his struggles and how he never gave up. Your dreams matter, and you have the ability to achieve them. His mission was not only to transform South Africa, but to inspire the entire world. And his message will continue for generations. So, always remember, with hope, love, and determination, you can make a difference. As he said, the greatest glory in living is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. This is where our story ends, but his legacy continues in all of us. Thank you for being part of this journey. If you feel inspired, share this story with others and help spread his message of unity, hope, and freedom. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more inspiring stories like this.